Okay, we're recording now. Okay, so I have been in Salina for our conference with a whole bunch of pastors for the last few days. I did never make slides for this call, so announcements are not formal. But the big one that I wanted to touch on with you guys, Team Cup month is next month. So we need to be getting our butts in gear for that. Like, I don't even have my team nailed down yet. So we need to get signed up for that, figure out who we're going to be with. You're doing the Blake Shelton. So if you don't have a team, get on a team. Figure out, I guess we can get a feed going in Team Heart. I know Raina's kind of down out right now, but typically she gets a feed going. If you need a team, if you decide later on that you want to jump on, there'll be people. And I've got with all kinds of people before. I've met brand new people just through doing Team Cups. So for those of you that don't know, Team Cup is just a month where we spend time. I believe Team Cup this time is 5 people. If I remember reading correctly, sometimes it's 3, but I think it's 5 coaches. And you're all just striving to help as many people as you can for that month. And there's all kinds of prizes that you get for, as a team, earning a certain level of Success Club together with your combined points. So just a reminder, 2 points for a challenge pack. Unless it's the all access, this is our last, through the end of February, it's the 3-point challenge pack. So that's really awesome for this Team Cup. So, I hear a screaming child. I hope my husband's on that. Yep, there he goes. So anyway, that's coming up. That'll be in February. We need to get that organized. Other than that, just that all access pass is gold. It's so awesome. In the 2.5 years that I have been doing this, we have never offered anything that's that, like, here, just come and get it. It's an incredible deal for people. And the way that I've been bringing that up is not straightforward. You know, I don't start out with that, but I just go through my normal conversation, getting to know people, getting to know where they're at, getting to know where they're wanting to be. I use that closing with class document to guide me through, making sure I'm asking all the questions I need to know to help them best. And then right before I give them the actual link to sign up, even after I've told them a program that I think will fit them well for this time, that's where I slip in and tell them about All Access Pass. And 9 out of 10 people have been going for it because it really is like the best deal that we can get right now. So you don't have to lead up front with it. Don't be salesy about it. You know, it's just going to be for people that want to make this a long-term thing. It's the package that is going to be the best for them if they want to continue through the year, which hopefully that's our goal, right? So hopefully that's what people are going to be doing. Other than that, that's all the announcements I have. What I wanted to, I don't know if train you guys on is the right way, but I just feel like I'm at a place where I'm getting myself back on track after struggling for a few months personally. And I just wanted to be open with that and share with you guys about the last few months for me, kind of tell you where I've been, how I've gotten back to where I am now. And I know that a lot of people on our team, Danielle even posted in Team Be More yesterday that she's been struggling. She's one of our top coaches. She's our 2-star diamond, and she's been struggling majorly. And I think that it's just good when we're able to just be honest with each other that we all go through ebbs and flows within this business, within our healthy lifestyle journeys, just walks in life, right? Like, there's hard times and we all go through it. And it's just the way that we choose to respond to those things that gets us to where we want to be. So my heart tonight is just to share with you guys about what's been going on with me. And then I also wanted to kind of touch on what I feel like really helped me to get back on track and back in gear with my business flowing the right direction, which was having just systems in place. So anyway, I will go ahead and just fill you guys in. So I know you guys have probably seen me share back in August, my grandpa got really, really sick. I have a extremely tight-knit family, like really small family. I have one cousin. I have my sister and I, and our family all was in Derby until I moved away. So we're just tight, and still makes me emotional to talk about it, so I'm going to do my best. But he got sick in August, and come September, we lost him. And it was a really, really hard time for me. It was really, really hard. Obviously, it's still hard. It's one of those things. You lose a grandparent, you lose a parent, you lose family members, close friends. We've all been there. It's not fun. It's hard to go through. But for some reason, going through that with him, I was able to like be really, really strong when I was with him. And I got to kind of be his hospital buddy, which is something I am eternally grateful for. If I wasn't working this business, if I wasn't at the place I was at where I wasn't teaching anymore, I didn't have the flexibility of working from anywhere, I couldn't have done what I did in August and in September. And I got to basically go back home and leave my preschooler here with Daniel to take care of. Lucy came with me. Melissa on our team that I would have never met had it not been for this business, took care of Lucy for me on the days where he was having surgeries, and let me bring Lucy over at like 6 a.m. and helped me so much so that I could be by his side, because the rest of my family was having to work and could only be there sporadically. So I was able to be there and be in the room with him and just spend my days in the hospital in August and into beginning of September. And we thought after his quadruple bypass that he was on the mend. He was getting back to normal. He got to left the heart hospital, went to rehab. And a week after being there, after I had left him, he passed. He had a stroke, a really massive stroke at the rehab center. And I got a call that day that he had passed, and was just really, really thankful for the time I had in August. So, I mean, lifetime of memories and wonderful things, but it was just special to have been able to spend that intentional time with him in August. So September came, that hit, and I went home and was home for almost 2 weeks again, just doing all the funeral, everything, and came back home, and I was just in that kind of numb place that you experience after losing somebody close to you. And it was just so hard. I've shared with you guys before. Oh, somebody's coming to say goodnight to me. You give mommy a hug. You say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Okay. You go sleep, okay? I'll see you in the morning.
Okay.
You wave bye-bye?
Bye-bye.
Okay. Here we go. Thank you, Daddy. Good night, sweetheart. So I was sharing with you guys. You guys know I've learned to be really open about my struggles with dealing with anxiety and some bouts of depression with that. And September hit really hard with that. I think it was just the overwhelming grief. You're already down from that. And then just trying to, for me, figure out how to function in the midst of all that grief was just overwhelming. And so my depression and anxiety struggles skyrocketed that month. And I still kept going with my workouts. I still kept going, trying to eat clean and do all that I could. But just my mindset, where I was at mentally, I was struggling. And I somehow managed to be able to share that. Like, I feel like I was pretty open just in my normal posts and stuff, just trying to be honest and authentic with people. But the reality for my business at that point in September was that I was barely functioning in my business. And the only thing that kept my income coming with my business in September was the residual income that we have from Team Cycle Bonus, and all of the momentum that I had built up in that year and a half prior to hitting that place. So when they say, build that momentum, get your business going solidly, it really helps in moments like that. Because I was not doing any kind of like retail selling, bringing in new teammates. I was barely hitting Success Club in September and October, and just barely, like, really struggling to function at that point, honestly. And September was basically hardly working my business. October, I was like, Christy, get your stuff together, like trying to pull myself out of that place. I spent a ton of time on personal development. I spent a ton of time on devotionals and time in my Bible study and that kind of stuff. But just a struggle. It was hard. Some days were hard to like actually get out of bed in the morning and be mom. So working my business was very, very challenging. And I would stay up late because that's the only time I could get myself to like focus and just try to get it done. But that momentum and that residual income piece that we have with this business, I saw it starting to slow down in October because I hadn't been doing what I needed to be doing consistently. So October, I was like, come on, get it together, Christy. And I made the mistake of trying to balls to the wall, jump right back in exactly where I had been prior to all of this happening. And you guys know me, I'm a tracker. I try to reach out to so many people a day. I try to add so many friends a day. I try to start new conversations and reconnects. Like that's the way I do my business. And I decided in October, like, if I'm going to get back into this, I have to do it now. And I set that bar crazy high for myself. And I crashed trying to do that. I made it a week. And then I was like, I can't do this. And I struggled again in October because I set my expectations for myself way too high. And I learned through personal development in October that when we hit places like that in our businesses, we cannot expect ourselves to do and produce the same that we've been doing at the times where we've been on, I learned that the hard way. And I learned that it is a time where you have to assess, really do self-reflection, and figure out what you can possibly do at that point consistently. Because consistency is everything for us. And if you try to dive in at a place like that and go crazy 100 miles per minute again, you're going to crash. And I learned that firsthand. So it was a kind of month where I did reflecting. I did lots of personal development. Like, why am I not able to get back in? I was like, what is wrong with me? And one of my personal development videos that I spent time on was from Jessica Pasola. It's one of her videos that's still like up at the top of the feed in the Beachbody Champions page. I loved it. I think it was called How She Hits Success Club Every Month. And she said something in that video about how we can never stop, but we have to adjust our course. And that really resonated with me. I was like, okay, so I didn't readjust. I just tried to jump back in full force. And obviously that didn't work. So end of October, going into November, I was like, okay, so if I'm going to get back into this and consistency is my goal, what do I have to adjust to get myself back to doing things consistently, which is important. And for me, the humbling thing was that I was going to have to go all the way back to the basics, to where we start, trying to consistently do it one time each day. Trying to consistently do it. Once I did that for a week, two people per day. Once I got to that point, trying to consistently get 3 people per day, that I just start conversations with, those different things that are on my business activity tracker. And I found at that point, what I could successfully do consistently was 3s. So, we have that Power of 3s guide. I went back to that, and that is what got me going again. And it was super humbling because, you guys, I'd been at like 15s. I was doing so much prior to that, but my my mind, the place I was at, the struggles I was having, just showed me that I couldn't do what I had been doing before, and I needed to adjust my course. So I humbled myself, I stepped back, and I worked on being consistent with those lower outreach numbers. And that's what I did in November. I did 3s all November long. And I spent time with those 3s catching up with all the people that I had left hanging back in September when I fell off. And that caused, that wheel to start turning again, that wheel of consistency to start moving again. And December, and you guys, you know what? I'm going to tell you honestly what happened in November too. Because September, October had been so stinky for me. I missed Success Club All-Star by 1 month. I didn't hit Success Club in November. And I had hit it all the 11 months prior to that. That was one of my biggest goals for the year. And so it was a night where I have some accountability partners in our Team Heart page. I sent them a message that night. I was bawling. I was so upset. But I didn't do what I needed to do. And that was the thing that I was crying and upset about, was I knew it was on me. And so I took a few days to really, take in that really sucked. It was awful. And that I was not going to be in that position again next year. And I took it as that failure as it was. I swallowed it, and it made me set my sights forward, learn from it, and I'm moving on. And I picked myself back up, and November got that consistency back in line. December was one of the best months that I've ever had with my business because I got that consistency flowing again. First, January, I had my biggest paycheck that I've ever had in the 2.5 years that I've been doing this. And it was enough to cover the house payment for our rental house that hadn't been rented for 3 months. So it was, and that with all the things we had going on, there's all these other pieces of life that were hard. That was one of them. We have a rental house in Derby still, our house that we lived in there. We've kept it for building equity since we're in a parsonage here. And we didn't have a renter from September, October, November. So we were swallowing, all of our savings to try to cover that house. And January would have been the one where we were like, I guess we have to use a credit card. We're not credit card people. And that terrified me. And because I got myself going again, my first check in January covered our house payment that we were almost late on. So I share all of this to help you guys know I'm like you. It's not easy for me every day. I have crappy situations in my life too. I have things going on that are really hard. I have my own mental battles on a day-to-day basis where I'm battling my own anxiety, depression things. I have life situations that are challenging. I have, all of these things that we all have. But through my personal development and through battling through those few months of down, 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 I learned a whole lot about how we can either wallow in our situations and our circumstances, or we can choose to accept the failures that we've experienced. We can choose to accept the places that we are in and make better choices moving forward, or make, just right steps in the correct direction. And that's what I was able to finally do in November. And December, like I said, was good. This month has been really good. I'm feeling like I'm finally getting myself back on track with things. Am I still struggling with grief? Yep. It's still hard. It's like 4 months later and I'm still struggling with it. Am I still struggling with my anxiety, depression stuff? Yep, it's still here. But personal development, relationships within my team, relationships within my church community, all of those things help me on a day-to-day basis. And I have the opportunity every day to choose to respond in a better way. I don't do it every day, correct? But I do my best. And that's all that we can do, right? But the piece that has been, for me, the saving grace out of my what could have been a really downward spiral with my business and just life in general was learning to go back to basics and do them with consistency. So switching gears a little bit, that's my story of the last several months, where I am now. And I've shared with you guys before my system for organization, for tracking, because it's so important in this business. But I wanted to, we have new people on our team. We have people that are interested in tracking and being organized now. And I just want to go over that with you guys again, what it is that I use, the system that I do to keep myself organized and focused and consistent. So I have just this business activity tracker that I created myself. You can make one that has activities on it that you want to be doing daily too. The idea for this kind of thing obviously came from the company. They're all about tracking, right? But it also came from reading The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And he taught all about how if we want to improve in certain areas of our lives, tracking is the best thing that we can do for ourselves to hold us accountable and to be really aware of where our time is going. So oftentimes people say, oh, I don't have time to do this, or I don't have time to do that. Just we think that we don't have time for things. But when we actually get down to it and we start tracking where our time is going, there's time there. And so tracking those things is important. So I'm literally just going to read off my BAT, my business activity tracker for you. And it's called business activity tracker, but it's my life activity tracker because I put things on here that are important to me personally, not just business-wise. So you can take mine, run with it, make your own. I can share my exact one with you after the call. If you're interested, I'll send you a picture. You can copy it exactly. But if you are using a business activity tracker every day, I so suggest it, you guys. It's so important. So important to track. So these are the things on mine. I have, and I set with these different categories, I set goals for each week. And my weeks are Thursday to Thursday, or Thursday to Wednesday for our Beachbody week. Just kind of how I think. So my first category, most important to me, is getting my devotional and my personal development in. And my goal is to do that daily. The next one is praying for my business and for my family. And I aim to do that daily. The next one I have is working out, getting my shake in. Daily is the goal for that. Including that one rest day a week, but that's on plan, so I count it part of the plan. The next category is adding new contacts, and I right now, like I've told you, I'm trying to hit 3 of those per day, so 18 a week. Reconnecting with people, just random conversations, not about Beachbody, just life conversations, catching up and being sincerely interested in people. I aim to do 3 of those per day. Challenge group invites. I do 3 of those at least per day. Business opportunity invites. Now, I was just talking with my Diamond accountability team. Let's see, that was Tuesday night. And we were all kind of talking. Business invites have changed for me so much over time. I used to just like straight up invite people, but I've gotten to a place now where I have seen that the most successful people in this business are people that come in and have a wonderful story themselves from going through our challenge groups and creating that healthy lifestyle for themselves. And so unless I find somebody who's like totally fitness already like perfect in that area, I don't really invite to the business opportunity per se. I still invite people that I think I would like to have on my team. I color code my system. I invite people that I think would be great fits for our team, but I don't talk to them about the business yet. I invite them to challenge groups. So I still consider them business invites because I'm keeping track of who I really would like to be on my team, my ideal people for our team. but I'm still inviting them just like a normal challenge group because I want them to have that experience first. Next on my tracker is following up with people. And I try to do 3 of those. That's people that I haven't heard back from that I invited or tried to start a conversation with. I just follow up with them. Challenger and coach interactions, trying to catch up with people, see how they're doing on their personal journeys, not business related, just checking in. I try to do 3 of those. And then I have on here other things like adding value to my newsfeed. So I actually don't look at my newsfeed. I've done the newsfeed, kill newsfeed thing on my Internet Explorer. So I actually have lists. I've told you guys how I make those lists before. But anybody, like all of you guys that are coaches on our team, I have you in a list. So certain point in the day, I go check in with that specific list and I interact and look at your things to see what's going on your pages. Challengers, I have them in a list and I go check in and interact with them on their life happenings. People that I've invited and added as new contacts or reconnects, I have them all in lists and I make sure I'm interacting with them specifically. And I spend time doing that every day. Coach Online Office check-in, I'm always looking at my volume because that's where our Team Cycle bonus money comes in. So I'm checking that on a day-to-day basis in my Coach Online Office. Adding value to our team pages, so making sure that I spend time going in, answering questions that people have put in any of our teams, welcoming new people to our teams, cheering people on when they're recognized for good work. I put that on there and try to do that every day. Let's see, challenge group check-ins. I try to check in with my challenge groups and be present as best as I can, AM and PM, so twice a day. I'm oftentimes on more than that, especially with our 70-person group right now. It's huge. Adding value to groups is on here, and I try to do that 3 times per week. And those groups are like the mommy groups that I've been included in on Facebook, the Disney group that I'm a part of on Facebook, and just going through and, again, just adding value, answering questions, interacting with people that I don't know. Adding value to my Lifetime group. I've been getting better about this. I was not very good for a long time. And my Lifetime group, I'm trying to check in at least twice a week, just adding value to that page. Responding to messages, I try to respond to at least 3 per day. Typically it's more than that, but that's what I aim for. And then each week I have set a certain number of coaches and challengers that I'm hoping to have jump onto our team for that week. And that's based off of my monthly goals for myself. So anyway, that's what I do. I have all of that stuff on my tracker. It's all important to me. Yours would probably look different based off of what's important to you. The key things, you know, if you want to succeed with your business is making sure you have vital behaviors on there, like the company suggests. And then putting other things on there that are important to you to make sure that you are doing things in your life consistently. And that is just something that's worked well for me in tracking. And I do, you see, I do this every day. I have the marker checks that I do on here. And then I'm a pen paper person, so I have everything in my massive Coach binder. And I have basically this for each month. And so then on Thursdays, I write it all down and keep it in my yearly tracker with each month. So that I can look back and know months that I was doing well, months that I wasn't. You can just use that data to help you to see when things were going well and when they weren't. It's good to have that down. It's work. It takes work to do that, right? Consistency with that is important. But I really, really appreciate having that. It helps me to know how to assess good and bad times and what I should be doing more of during those times. So that is what I do with my business activity tracker. So suggest it. Oh, something else I've been doing on here, you know, like I was talking about time, being aware of the time we're spending. I have put a section up here in the corner that lets me know how many hours I've actually worked my business that week. So it keeps me accountable, because sometimes I sit down to work my business and I get distracted on stuff and I'm like, well, shoot, I just wasted a half an hour, I use that to help me to be really focused so that I can put down only intentional time that I've worked. And for me as a full-time coach, I aim to work 15 hours a week. So sometimes I hit it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes, like December, I was rocking it and I went way above that. And it was a really, really good month for me. But I know, like, when I was working full time, no way it would have been 15 hours a week. That's different for those of you that are working. You're going to be less than that. You might be 7 hours a week, an hour a day. And it's totally doable. That's what I did when I was working full time. But now that I'm growing a business and trying to help as many people as I can as a full-time coach, it looks a little different for me. The other thing, I've told you guys, I have this binder system. I got it off of Etsy. I bought it last year, and this year I went and looked at it. I was like, do I need to buy it again this year? And the only thing that she'd changed was the calendars. So I just kept the one I had and went online, got free Google image calendars for each month of the year, and used the same stuff from last year. And what I have in here is just I have a goals page for the month. I have pages then where I can write down my goals for the week to actually track them in here. I put it on my marker board because I like to have it in front of me. But I write them down by week here in my binder so I can look back on those too. I have that business activity tracker section for the month. I have my group planners. So anybody who's already signed up for my January 30th group, I have them written down in here so I don't forget them. I'm really bad about that. And then I have sections for January invitations. And within that, like, I write down the initial day that I invite somebody. And then if I don't hear from them, I follow up 2 days later just to check in. And I follow that same follow-up guide that Raina gave us. I just change it and make the message more me. So 2 days later, if I don't hear from them, I follow up and I write it down. 3 days later, if I still don't hear from them, I follow up again and I write it down. A week later, if I still haven't heard from them, I follow up and I see if they want to be removed from my contact list. And then a week after that, I say, okay, I'm going to remove you from my contact list because we haven't been able to connect yet. If you want to get in contact with me down the road, you know where I am. So that's just kind of how I keep track of those things on here. And I also write if I'm responding to messages that people have actually interacted with me on. And that's why I write it down in here. And I'm a nerd. I color code. Blue is challenges and purple is coach potentials. And then I have the next section on here is January contacts. So anybody that I add new, I write them down in here. And I've been doing just something new I've been trying for the last few months. When I add people, I'm actually sending them a message from that point. So I'm starting conversations with the ad. I write that down here. And then this is also where I keep track of just reconnecting with people. I track that in here as well. And the same kind of thing, I follow up and I mark responding on that. Just tracks those conversations for me. The next section I have is income and expenses. I'm sometimes good at that. I'm not always good at that. And then I have just tons of pages for notes for all of our personal development, our national wake-up calls, the training like I'm doing with Josh Coates this month. I have all of that there. And then I have a page that I keep track of all the challengers that I check in with, and a page where I keep track of all of you coaches that I check in with. So I track all of those things. Anyway, like that's just what works for me. That may overwhelm the crap out of you, and if it does, I'm sorry. It works really well for me. It's what I have found that works for me, and so I use it, and I do it with consistency. The thing that you need to do is find what works for you and do it with consistency. It doesn't matter what it is. but tracking and keeping track, of these activities that you want to do daily that are meaningful for you, keeping track of your invitations, your conversations. When you track those things, to me, if I don't write it down, in my heart, I feel like it doesn't matter. If I write it down, the people that I'm starting conversations with matter, because it helps me to know that I need to follow back up with them, or that I need to check and make sure there's not a message I need to respond to them on. It keeps me in check and helps me to be a better, not just coach, but a better human. Makes me a better friend. So I love having it in this handwritten system. It's worked well for me. But I will tell you guys, my first year in this business, I bounced from one tracking system to the next, to the next, to the next. Because if you've never noticed, I love organization, and I love like all of the different ways that people organize their businesses. It's like a shiny object to me. So I would see one and I'd be like, ooh, I want to try that. And so then I'd go that direction. And then I'd see somebody else talk about something else. And I'd go, ooh, I want to try that one. And so I'd start implementing that one. And I just did that like all the time that first year. And my husband was the one who finally, like at the end of 2014, when I was actually like getting really serious with this, he was like, Christy, you're going to like them all because it's organization and you like organization. Just pick one and stick with it, or else you're never going to be organized, like ever. And so even now, like when people tell me about their organization systems, I'm like, my ears are all perked up and I'm like, what are you doing? But I have to like put the dog cone on and like I already have my thing, like. So that's me. I'm totally nerdy in that way. But I just suggest that you find a system that works for you, and you work on doing those small numbers daily, consistently. And I promise, if you do those things with consistency, your business will start to take off. Your life will feel more, I don't know, in line, like you're actually doing something with it. The things that are meaningful to you, you'll actually start implementing them and doing them well. It truly helps in every aspect. And these principles that the business has taught me are things that I will continue forever. Like this is just about doing our lives better. So the compound effect stuff that Darren Hardy teaches about tracking, it's going to help you in every facet of your life, whether this business is important to you or not. It's going to help you with the things that are important to you if you start tracking and doing that with consistency. So pick a system, whether it's electronic, paper, pencil, and just start doing it. And with that, I think that's everything I wanted to share with you guys tonight. So if there are any questions that you have, you're welcome to ask at this point. Anybody? And it doesn't have to be about this. It can be about anything. So. Nope. Okay. All right. Well, if you're just being shy and you have questions, message me and I'm happy to help. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope it was good to hear. I'm a person too, and I struggle too. But I just hope that you guys will take some of this information, figure out your system, figure out what you can do, adjusting so that you can do it consistently, and implement it. That's what it's going to take. So anyway, I will talk with you guys soon. Thank you for spending time tonight to listen, and we'll chat again soon. Okay? Have a good night, guys.
Are you stopping the recording now?
Mm-hmm.